Okay. Let's see how my voice does today. Let me put on some actual music. Okay. We will wait till we get a couple more people in here. We'll start going over the news that we just got. Dictates literally the entire slate. This one piece of news. There's also some potential news that you could potentially take advantage of later on. It's only a 4-game slate. 3 of the games start at 6 and 6:30 p.m. Central Time. The other game starts at 9:30 p.m. Central Time, and there is some injury news looming in that game, so leaving some flexibility could create some edge, but you will be missing out on some very, very good plays, and you're definitely risking it by saving your pieces till the last game. I appreciate that, Shannon. Yeah, I mean, I'm taking some medicine. Hopefully, I can start feeling better. Alright, guys. Let's start going over game by game. Shouldn't take that long since there's only 4 games. And then we will go over the news as well as doing that. If we get any injury news during this stream, I will make sure to get to that. Nicholas Claxton officially out 7 to 10 days. So we are going to see a lot of LaMarcus Aldridge moving forward. Alright, guys, we will... This is probably loud. This music. Okay. We will start up top with the Portland Trailblazers versus the Charlotte Hornets. 230.5 over-under. Trailblazers are currently 1.5 point favorites. And actually, that ended up moving. So, the Trailblazers opened at 1 point favorites. Now they're 3 point favorites with, public money on them now at 60%. But if you watched my video earlier, there was heavy sharp money on them. Some real big boy money on them, moving them from 1 to like 1.5 point favorites, despite it only being like 47% of the bets. And so money is really coming in on the Trailblazers visiting the Charlotte Hornets. And the over-under went up a full 2 points despite only 46% of the bets being on the over. So again, sharp money on the over and Portland Trailblazers in this game. Makes me want to have a couple pieces of these Trailblazers guys. And it starts up top with Damian Lillard. So Damian Lillard, the last couple games, has really come around. Both those games ended up being blowouts in their favor. This game is projected to be competitive, and so I'm going to be going to Damian Lillard here quite a bit, especially over on FanDuel, where he is only $8,400. Don't really understand that. I also took his overs over here on Price Picks. He is only at 40 fantasy points. And also, you could pair, if you guys want to do this right now, the numbers already inflated on Pat Connaughton and Giannis a bit, but if you want to take the over on Grayson Allen and Damian Lillard here at 40 fantasy points and 22 fantasy points, I don't mind that at all. I already placed that bet myself earlier. But really like Damian Lillard here, and with the tides definitely turning back to normality with the Portland Trailblazers, I'm less on CJ, more on Damian Lillard. I think Jusuf Nurkic, he continues to be a very good per minute producer. He has always been a good per minute producer. His minutes have been a bit sketchy here as of late for weird reasons. I think in a normal scenario, he's going to play around 30 minutes. And if that's the case, if we knew ahead of time that he was going to play 30 minutes, he would be like in the 8Ks. He wouldn't be $7,300. He's too cheap over here. I like Nurkic quite a bit. Norman Powell ended up returning last game, played 24 minutes, but the game ended up blowing out. He would have played 3 more minutes, would have played around 27 minutes. Now he gets more rest, and I'm thinking he plays probably around 30 minutes here. Not really in play for me, really just focusing in on Damian Lillard and Yusuf Nurkic. The Charlotte Hornets have no injuries. Terry Rozier is still probable. I'm assuming he's going to play, but with him returning, the prices are all too much inflated as of right now, so I can't really consider anybody on the Charlotte Hornets team, despite it being such a great matchup. The prices are as if Terry Rozier is out, but that is probably no longer going to be the case here. So not really on anybody from the Charlotte Hornets side. With PJ Washington being back, that definitely eats into Mason Plumlee's minutes. Mason Plumlee isn't even guaranteed to close these games anymore, and so I actually took a shot on the under 29 fantasy points over here on Prize Picks, if you guys want to tail that pick as well. Move over to the Utah Jazz versus the Milwaukee Bucks, to the game where we have all the news in. 224.5 over under. Jazz are currently 2-point favorites, but actually Middleton was just ruled out. Let's see what it's at right now. So yeah, so the Jazz are actually 5-point favorites right now after Chris Middleton was ruled out. Just be cautious. The last time we saw this Milwaukee Bucks team with no Drew Holiday, Brook Lopez, and Chris Middleton, they got absolutely throttled by the Miami Heat. The Utah Jazz, probably a bit better team. Actually, let's go look what the score of that game was, because it wasn't too long ago. They lost 137-95. We all knew that. Remember that game. But I'm going to play this. I mean, if it's a 5-point spread, I'm going to play this game. You know what? That Vegas does not indicate this game is going to blow out. It definitely could, and if people are scared of that, then good. Then it's going to lower the ownership of some of the best plays on the entire slate. But we'll start with the Utah Jazz side. So since we are probably going to be playing with some of these a lot of these Milwaukee guys, you're expecting this game to stay competitive. It would make sense to bring it back with some of these guys. So Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, probably the guys I'm targeting the most on this team, as well as Bojan Bogdanovic. I think Bojan Bogdanovic in competitive games plays 34 minutes, just under a fantasy point per minute player, but at $5,200, the security in minutes is good enough for me to get to him. And then yeah, Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, I like both of them. Rudy Gobert has been pretty decent against the Bucks, but this is an undersized Bucks team now, with Giannis starting at the 5. They don't have Brook Lopez. Bobby Portis is only to be playing about 15 minutes. Like, this team is very, very small with their current setup. So Rudy Gobert could absolutely destroy this Milwaukee Bucks front court. Donovan Mitchell, I like quite a bit as well, if you are playing a bunch of these Milwaukee guys. Now, Milwaukee, obviously, without Middleton, Drew Holiday, Brook Lopez, Dante DiVincenzo, Semi Ojeleye is out with rest. Bobby Portis is only playing 15 minutes tonight. So that leaves a ton of value. I'm locking in Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think that's pretty much a given. Grayson Allen, Jordan Nwora, Pat Connaughton, and George Hill are the best value plays on the entire slate, maybe outside of LaMarcus Aldridge, who we'll get to next game. But you could play 4 of these guys. You could play 4 Milwaukee Bucks guys and feel comfortable doing it. There's just so many minutes and usage to go around on this team. They were already in play with Chris Middleton in, and now he's ruled out. So I'm fine with getting to all of that value, as well as Giannis Antetokounmpo. Move over to the Detroit Pistons versus the Brooklyn Nets at 213 over under. Nets are currently 12-point favorites. Actually, let's make it. Yeah, it's still 12-point favorites. Cade Cunningham, Isaiah Livers, and Chris Smith are all out. So no more Cade Cunningham chalk, unfortunately. Was hoping people would go back to the well with that. Kelly Olynyk has closed over Isaiah Stewart in each of these last 2 games, and he has been a 1.23 fantasy point per minute so far this year. So yeah, it looks like in the second halves of these last 2 games, he has come in and kind of led a mini comeback against these teams. And if we knew ahead of time that we were going to get the same amount of minutes from Kelly Olynyk, he would be an absolute lock at $5,400. I think he's in a good spot because they should be down against the Brooklyn Nets, and by the time he comes in, he might be able to earn himself a bit more playing time until the game potentially blows out. And even if it doesn't blow out, if he's playing well, it looks like they are willing to play him over Isaiah Stewart down the stretch of the game. Kelly Olynyk's actually one of my favorite tournament plays on the slate. Wouldn't play him in cash games, but I think he has a ton of upside if he is given the minutes. Not really considering anybody else on that Detroit team. Over on the Brooklyn Nets, Kyrie Irving, Nicholas Claxton, Paul Millsap are out. So the front court is very, very depleted. It looks like Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge should split all 48 center minutes. And now with Paul Millsap out, because that's what they did last game with no Claxton, now Paul Millsap is out. And now that makes me believe that they could play next to each other. It could also give a boost in minutes to Bruce Brown as well. So I love LaMarcus Aldridge. He has been a very good per minute producer so far this year. Not really considering Blake Griffin. And then up top with Kevin Durant and James Harden, they're definitely good plays. This is a great matchup for them. James Harden, actually, over the course of the day after I looked at more stuff, James Harden is actually my preference between the two of these guys. Because if he's going to continue to get to the line like he is, he will be very, very ball dominant, and the other stats will follow. And he is only $9,900. If this game is competitive, James Harden is probably the best point per dollar stud on the slate, maybe outside of Giannis. But don't know if this game is going to stay competitive. Vegas indicates this game should blow out, and I'm not sure if he sees any fourth quarter run. But I do like James Harden quite a bit. LaMarcus Aldridge, an absolute lock for me today. Move over to the last game of this slate, the game that starts 3.5 hours after lock, 3 hours after the second to last game in the Houston Rockets versus the Los Angeles Lakers. 220.5 over under. Lakers are currently 11-point favorites. The Rockets, they are going to be without Daniel House, John Wall. Kevin Porter Jr. was questionable, but it now looks like he is going to give it a go. If for any reason that he sits between now and then, DJ Augustin would become the starting point guard. He is only $3,100 over here on Draftkings. But yeah, Kevin Porter Jr. being back actually makes him a very good play in his own right. He is constantly going to be up there with the team high in minutes with Jalen Green and Christian Wood. But they have been in so many blowouts. Vegas does indicate this game will blow out, but that's not always the case. We've seen the Thunder beat this Lakers team not too long ago, and Houston just blew out the Thunder not too long ago. So if you really like a play from these games that are projected to be 11, 12-point games, maybe don't shy away from them completely, because everybody else is going to think that, and that is only going to lower their ownership on plays that are good. Like Kevin Porter Jr. leads his team in usage, assist percentage, will play mid to high 30s minutes in competitive games, especially if they're trying to keep it closer with this Lakers team. He is only $6,000, $5,900 on FanDuel. I really like Kevin Porter Jr. Quite a bit. And then Alperen Sengun at $4,200. He finally got blowout run last game. So he, next to Kelly Olynyk, this is probably my second favorite tournament play on the entire slate. So he is going to be playing 16 to 18 minutes in competitive games. He had not been getting blowout run. They had been playing Usman Garuba in the blowout run, but last game actually he ended up playing all the way through the fourth quarter, played 25 minutes. And so if he plays 16 to 18 minutes and the game is competitive, you're not drawing dead. He should be good in the for $4,200 because he is such a good per minute producer. But if the game blows out and he gets all that fourth quarter run, we could see a similar situation to last game where he played 24 minutes, put up 26 fantasy points, $4,200. And actually, he has a lot more upside than in 24 minutes. His upside is a lot higher than 26.25 fantasy points. Move over to the Los Angeles Lakers. So, Talon Horton-Tucker, Trevor Ariza, Kendrick Nunn are out. LeBron James is still questionable. He's been questionable all of these games. He has been playing recently. I guess there is an outside chance that he sits this game just because it is a home game against the Houston Rockets. If he does sit, Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis, if I knew right now LeBron James was out, Westbrook and Anthony Davis would both be locks for me. And I would honestly try to get Westbrook, Davis, and Giannis in. I would try to do that just because there is so much value on the slate. I don't think that would actually work. But you get what I'm saying with how good of plays Westbrook and Davis would become. And if you leave your slots open until this last game and LeBron James gets ruled out, you are going to get Westbrook and Davis at like in the teens ownership, maybe single digit ownership. If it was bigger than a 4-game slate, the ownership would be lower, but you're going to get these guys at very, very low ownership. But again, I expect LeBron to play in this game, but we're not going to know until, probably an hour or two before that game even begins. Dwight Howard also ended up on the injury report just about an hour ago. There's a chance that he sits. A midday downgrade is never good, and so if he sits, I don't know if DeAndre Jordan gets an extra stint per half. I think more so of what is going to happen is they're just going to play small ball lineups more. They could definitely get away with that against the Houston Rockets. So we might actually see more Carmelo Anthony at $5,000. That makes him a very, very good tournament option. The only time I played him this year was, this game when LeBron was out and he scored 9.5 fantasy points. Every other game he has been very, very good, but just my luck to begin the season. Also, if LeBron James is ruled out, Malik Monk would become a near must play as well at $3,700. But it's unlikely that you are going to have very many spots open in this last game. All right, we are going to get some questions. I don't think we're going to get any news. This stream actually might get cut a bit short if we start running out of questions, just because it is only a 4-game slate and we're really not waiting on too much news. What do you think about the Bucks side at cheap wise? Yeah, so I think they're all definitely in play. I would normally be concerned about Bobby Portis being back, but the fact that he is only playing 15 minutes makes it seem like Jordan Nwora is squarely in play. Grayson Allen, Pat Connaughton, George Hill are all going to grab starts tonight, I would assume. So they are all great plays. You can play all 4 of those value guys. They're all very, very good plays. Rozier is warming up and plans to play according to head coach. Yeah, he's been probable this whole time. I've been fully expecting him to play. Now, if he sits, I'd be more inclined to get to guys like LaMelo or Miles Bridges today. I think Hood and Thanasis even soak up some extra minutes. Yeah, that's the thing. Hood being back is kind of annoying. Josh Jackson sneaky pivot off some Bucks who will be mega chalk. With no Cade, he will be secured mid-20s minutes and potentially for over 30. Yeah, actually, let me bring up the Pistons. The couple of games before Cade returned, because Josh Jackson was getting into that rotation. He actually started that game that Jeremy Grant was out. So Josh Jackson ended up playing 23 minutes here, but that was with no Cade in the second half. So he kind of took over that role. Then the game before he ended up starting, he played 24 minutes, didn't close. See, again, another spot where Kelly Olynyk ended up closing. They closed with Frank Jackson over Josh Jackson. Little weird. And this is the game that Jeremy Grant was out and Josh Jackson started, and was very good. How much is Josh? 4,400. Yeah, definitely an interesting pivot. You're gonna get him at like a 4th of the ownership, a 5th of the ownership. A 10th of the ownership, honestly. Taylor, aren't we worried about Milwaukee getting blown out? I talked about it a bit earlier with the Miami stuff. When they faced Miami, they got absolutely destroyed. And actually, that was a game they had Middleton, wasn't it? Or am I mistaken? No, they had Middleton. Yeah, so, Vegas only indicates that this is a 5-point spread. So, if you think the Milwaukee Bucks are really in danger of getting blown out here, dude, hammer the -5. (5:36 p.m.) they are reporting Porter Jr. as questionable. Interested in JJ as well. Yeah, JJ, that's a good case for Josh Jackson with no Cade Cunningham again. I think he would get blowout run as well. Hold up. See, he got the blowout run right here, but so did a lot of the other guys. But he got blowout run against the Hawks in a similar situation. Any update to the DK that you posted earlier today? I updated it probably like 30 minutes before lock, so maybe try refreshing it. If it has Chris Middleton on it, it is not updated. Favorite Prize Picks play tonight? As of right now, it's the Damian Lillard over 40 fantasy points, and I think it's still there. So if you guys want to tail this, the Damian Lillard over 40 fantasy points and Grayson Allen over 22 fantasy points. I'm sure the number has risen already, but we can take a look. Grayson's still at 22. Pat Connaughton moved from 23 to 25. And then Giannis moved from like 54 to 58. Lillard, is he still out? Lillard's still at 42. Nurk or Christian Wood single entry. I'm going with Nurk there. Favorite cheap Bucks plays? Pat, Nwora, Grayson Allen. Hill, Nwora, and Aldridge, or Hill, Nwora, and Grayson Allen. The Aldridge side. Nance Love. No, I'm not on Nance today. Nance has only been getting extended run lately because of how many blowouts the Trailblazers have been involved in. I'm playing one lineup tonight. Do I play Giannis? I think so. There's so much value today, and Giannis should be able to do everything on this team. So yeah, I'm going to be playing Giannis. Who you like for Houston, Los Angeles Lakers? You know, assuming everybody's healthy, probably Kevin Porter Jr., and that's about it. Alperen Sengun and GPPs. Game stacking Portland, Charlotte is the move in GPP. Absolutely, I think so. I think you get like Giannis, some Bucks value, and then, you know, I like the Portland pieces. I think Tate becomes a strong play if KPJ sits. He would become a facilitator much more obviously. Dude, I know it was his birthday yesterday, or last time Jayshawn Tate played, but he shot 12 times in 15 minutes. That is very uncharacteristic. I wonder if that had anything to do with it being his birthday, because that was quite the outlier from Jayshawn Tate. Obviously didn't make his shots, but yeah. Middleton is ruled out. Yep. Favorite center tonight? I like Gobert and Nurkic. Well, it's probably LaMarcus Aldridge point per dollar wise. George Hill or Josh Jackson. I'm probably going to go with George Hill there in cash. If you want to get in tournaments, you probably go to a guy like Josh Jackson, because all these Bucks guys are going to be very, very chalky today. Top small forwards for FanDuel: Giannis, Kevin Porter Jr. Probably my two favorite. You still like Bogdan, yeah, and I think Bojan Bogdanovic is a good play in his own right. So, where are you guys seeing that Kevin Porter Jr. was back to questionable? See, this was at 1:42 or 2:42 p.m. Eastern time. Steven Silas said Porter should be good to go for Sunday's game against the Lakers. Is there any other report on here? No, it's the same one. So, no Oubre love. Yeah, no Oubre love. Terry Rozier is probably going to return in this game, so that's going to knock Kelly Oubre back to the bench, and less minutes for him overall. NBC Sports Edge. Yeah, I mean, if Kevin Porter Jr. is being downgraded to that, I'm pretty skeptical on playing him. So if you're playing Kevin Porter Jr., you can just make sure he's in a guard spot. And if he is ruled out, you just slide down to Jalen Green. Jalen Green without Kevin Porter Jr. is a better play than Kevin Porter Jr. right now. Yeah, he's downgraded. Okay. If Dwight Howard sits, should we go to DJ for value? I don't think DJ actually ends up playing all that much more if Dwight sits. I think that it gives more minutes to a guy like Carmelo, to be honest, and they just play small. Eric Gordon could actually be garnering a lot of usage. Yeah, it's pretty annoying. But again, also, I want to say, if you're leaving multiple spots open for tonight, Kevin Porter Jr., if he's ruled out, DJ Augustin's 3,100 and will start in his place. No, I'm not really on DJ. Conley or Jalen Green of the Rockets. I I probably just play Conley there, assuming that you're running it back with these Bucks guys. Conley should be good to go. He was only resting yesterday due to a sore right knee, so I think he's fine. CJ or LaMelo? I'm probably going to go with LaMelo there. Who's your running back for Charlotte? Yeah, I'm not really on these Charlotte guys at their prices. I mean, I would probably just end up going to Miles Bridges here. I mean, his newfound offensive role is, since the beginning of, or the end of last year, is crazy. So it's probably him. Y'all realize Harden and Durant on this slate? Yeah, for sure. I mean, but it's the same situation with the Lakers. I mean, this game, Vegas indicates that game's going to blow out. So how much run are we actually going to get from them? That's the thing. I mean, I definitely trust the Brooklyn guys more than the Lakers just because there's only 2 of the studs rather than 3 over with the Lakers. But I mean, I like James Harden a lot. Bruce Brown, no good now with all the Bucks value. I mean, he's a good pivot off of them, but the Bucks value is a lot better than him. Top 4K and below plays on DK. I mean, there's not very many good 4K and below plays. I mean, George Hill is 4,000, but underneath that, there's really nobody. I mean, it depends on injury news later. So if Dwight is out, DeAndre Jordan is a decent play. But again, I'm not even sure that he's going to play all that much. Thoughts on Hayes? I'm not on Killian Hayes, even with Cade Cunningham out. Grant or Olynyk on FanDuel? Gonna be Grant for me. KPJ under 31 fantasy points. I mean, I like Kevin Porter today if he's healthy, but apparently he's been downgraded. And actually, I'm gonna find that news myself real quick. NBC Edge, because I want to make sure. No, NBC Edge. Basketball. Okay. Oh yeah, officially downgraded. So that's no good. Okay, Terry Rozier officially in. So that takes away from these Charlotte guys a lot. Okay, so yeah, I mean, it looks like Kevin Porter Jr. is on the doubtful side, in my opinion. Which means we could get some value in Jalen Green and Jayshawn Tate on Prize Picks. And then you could just bring it back with one of these Lakers and hope the game stays competitive. But yeah, I'm going to make it an update to the FanDuel lineup really quick because we did have Kevin Porter Jr. because he was a very good price point over here. Lillard or Mitchell on DK? Got to be Lillard for me. Would you play Grayson, Pat, and Noir in the same lineup? I would. What about Ball? I mean, LaMelo. I mean, if you're trying to run it back with one of these Hornets guys, yeah, LaMelo's definitely fine. Hornets will start Ball, Rozier, Hayward, Bridges, Plumlee. Yep. So Kelly Oubre bumped back down to the bench. Is he actually on Prize Picks? Nah, that's unfortunate. Top guards for FanDuel. Damian Lillard. Who does KBJ being out help? So it would look like DJ Augustin would end up grabbing the start. He has been the direct backup. Kevin Porter Jr. didn't come out in the second half last game, and DJ Augustin started in his place. He is only $3,100. He would become a very, very good play. Obviously, we don't have confirmation on him playing, and we're not going to have confirmation until closer to lock, or closer to the lock of that game, which is 3.5 hours after this original slate locks. So if you're playing multiple guys, be ready to pivot. Do you have COVID? If so, how does it feel? Dude, I have no idea. Jalen Green season. I mean, if Kevin Porter Jr. is out, I'm about it. Eric Gordon with a play with MPJ or KPJ questionable. I mean, yeah. I still don't know how much they end up playing him. But I mean, we know Eric Gordon. Have you seen Eric Gordon lately? This dude looking like Zion Williamson. But I digress. He should be active when he's out there. Westbrook, Davis, Porter, Grant, CJ Lillard, Giannis on DK. How do you fit that? I don't think that's possible. Rozier starting, yep. Bruce Brown or Pat, gotta go with Pat there. $6,700 utility spot on DK, thank you. Yeah, that 6K range is pretty gross on Draftkings. It's probably Jeremy Grant. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely Jeremy Grant with no Kate Cunningham. His shot volume should go back up this game. KPJ actually out. He's not officially ruled out, but he was questionable coming into the day. Was upgraded to probable, where Steven Silas, their head coach, said that he would be he should be good to go tonight. And then recently he was just downgraded back to questionable. So little sketched out on that. So there will be a minor change to the FanDuel lineup, which I'm just about to change. You like PJ Washington since he's starting? Is he starting? Yeah, PJ Washington is not starting. I was about to say, I was like, that would be pretty odd for him to be starting over Plumlee. But no, I don't like PJ Washington. You can't play Giannis, but you can play Thanasis. You are a rare breed, my friend. So, okay. Point guard for Cash, Damian Lillard. Why Plumlee only get 18 minutes last game if he's safe to play tonight? Is he? Oh yeah. So PJ Washington is back now. I was not expecting PJ Washington to play, but it looks like he is fully back now, and he's gonna eat into Mason Plumlee's minutes. So if you're playing over on Prize Picks, I like the under on Mason Plumlee 29 minutes. I don't think it takes into account that PJ Washington is back. Giannis is like the best fantasy player there has ever been, outside of like, you know, James Harden by himself and Westbrook by himself. Now, this is Giannis by himself. No Drew Holiday, no Brook Lopez, no Chris Middleton. This is like elite territory. Don't care about the matchup. I mean, we can go once I get done updating this, I'll show you guys the numbers of Giannis versus the Jazz last year. Did not go well for the Jazz. Okay. FanDuel has been updated, guys. Ingles or Grayson. Gonna go with Grayson there. Middleton out. Yep. Chris Middleton is out. Seawood or Nurk on DK. I'm going with Nurkic there. Bucks are gonna blow out though, bro. Man, I can't read some of your guys' texts. Well, the Jazz are only 5-point favorites. If the game is within 5 points at the end of the game, I'm sure the Bucks aren't going to give up. Harden or Westbrook, assuming LeBron misses. If LeBron misses, I probably go with Westbrook there. I think it's a higher likelihood of that game staying competitive. And they're pretty similar plays without LeBron. Can Giannis get it done in 3 quarters? I mean, man, the game is only a 5-point spread. For the top Bucks values on DK, Nwora, Connaughton, Grayson Allen. Kelly O is such an elite tournament play, Matt. Yeah, so last year against the Jazz in 2 games, Giannis put up 32 points per game, 10, I think that's 11.5 rebounds and 10 assists a game. So he averaged a triple-double versus them. 10 rebounds, 11.5 assists. Pretty solid. Pretty solid numbers. I'd take that today. Is it good night to take down the 5-5-5? I mean, that would be pretty sick, no? I actually, if you guys watched my video earlier, we end up winning all those. Here it is. This is the play from the video if you guys tailed. Harrison Barnes over, Luka Doncic over. I thought those numbers were pretty damn low, especially with Harrison Barnes playing 37 minutes per game so far this year. Dame, Nurkic, Hill, or CJ, Gobert, Grayson. I'm going to go with the Dame side. 4,500 last piece forward. Isn't Nwora 45? Yeah, Jordan Nwora there, Paul. Favorite center on FanDuel, either Rudy Gobert or Yusuf Nurkic. Or, you know, if you want to use your center spot on LaMarcus Aldridge, I think that's fine. Would you start Brown against Detroit? I think Brown is fine. I think Millsap being out actually helps his case for minutes a bit more. I hate that they played Javon Carter over him a lot of last game. But they have shown that even in blowouts, they will play him throughout the 4th quarter. So don't mind him. Thanasis starting. Oh, we got the starting lineup. Hill, Allen, Connaughton, Thanasis, and Giannis. As expected. Jordan Nwora coming off the bench. Gonna help lower that ownership. Feels good. Yeah. Giannis foul trouble worry. You guys worried about that? I mean, I just never worry about foul trouble. And really, I don't ever really worry about blowouts unless it's like a crazy spread. Would you play Dame, Jalen Green, and Bruce Brown, or KD, Grayson, and Thanasis? I probably wouldn't play Thanasis. So I'd probably play the Dame side. Harden or Dame? Harden, if you have the money. Nwora or Covington? Nwora. Nurkic or Gobert? Yeah, that one's a bit tougher because they are priced so closely. I like Nurkic more point per dollar wise, but if I have the money to get up to Gobert, I'll play Gobert over him. Ball or Rozier on FanDuel? Ball for sure. Thanasis projected minutes. I mean, he's probably going to play like low 20s. Thanasis really, I mean, if that. Thanasis doesn't even play that many minutes. ever. Oh my god, I can't spell. So this was with Middleton playing. Thanasis started. He played 17 minutes, pretty much 18 minutes. Semi Ojeley's minutes will be replaced by Bobby Portis. Yeah, so I mean, I think some people are gonna fall for the Thanasis stuff, but it will not be I. Played 8 minutes off the bench there. 19 minutes in the starting lineup. That was with Middleton, though. But that was also with no Semi Ojeley or Bobby Portis. So, yeah, I mean, his minutes are pretty sketchy. Kelly O or Plumlee. Honestly, at that point, I just take my chances on Kelly. Bojan under 28 fantasy points or KD over 47 or neither. Probably neither. I like Bojan today. And KD, you're pretty much just betting if that game blows out or not, essentially. And I hate betting on that. In full game bets. Connaughton or Allen. Yeah, man, that's tough. It's probably Connaughton for me, but I like to play both. Lillard, Giannis, and Nurkic in the same lineup. Thoughts? Yeah, that's what I have on FanDuel at least. I like it. Tate and Green over fantasy points on Prize Picks. Yeah, so I think that there is definitely value in it. If I knew the game was going to stay competitive, they would be slam dunk plays. And I explained it in my video earlier. Even if the game doesn't blow out, you're not drawing dead because these projections they have for Jayshawn Tate and Jalen Green are as if Kevin Porter Jr. is in. So if Kevin Porter Jr. is in, you taking the overs, you're not drawing dead. You're just getting an average projection. But if he is ruled out, these projections are too low and they'll rise a couple points and you'll get some value there. Pat Connaughton or Allen? Yeah, slightly Pat. Bogdan or Olynyk? Bogdan and Cash for sure. If you want to be a bit risky, Olynyk. Olynyk is the real play there, though, if we're being honest. Nurk and Pat Con or Gobert and Hood. Hood got 18 minutes in close game last time. Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. I probably still side with Nurk because the difference between Nurk and Gobert isn't that large to me. Because I think in normal scenarios, Nurkic's minutes are going to be on the rise, somewhere in that 30-minute range. Simmons, Monk, or Cody Martin? Definitely Simmons there. Hiller, Connaughton. Any love for Sengun as a value play? Yeah, I mean, even if this game doesn't stay competitive, he's probably going to play 16 to 18 minutes and probably won't kill your lineup. But if the game blows out, they showed that they will play him in fourth quarter run like they did last time. He played nearly 25 minutes. If I knew that he was playing 25 minutes ahead of time, he would be a near must play for me at $4,200. Do you like AD on FanDuel tonight, even if LBJ plays? No, not as much. I'm only really considering the Lakers studs if LeBron is ruled out. Giannis at the center, fouls a lot. I mean, sure. If I lose because Giannis gets in foul trouble, then so be it. It is what it is. Thoughts on Jeremy Grant? I'm not on Jeremy Grant, but Kate Cunningham being back out should he should continue to see the shot volume that he's had lately. Hill, Allen, Nwora, Giannis, Gobert, Bruce Brown, Kelly O, Nurk, or Miles Bridges. Oh, in the last spot, I'd probably go with Nurk there, but I like that lineup. Thoughts on the three Houston players, KPJ, Jalen Tate, in one lineup? I mean, if you're playing one of those guys, I might want to bring it back with one of the Lakers studs. Because you just want to have the correlation there because they're probably not going to get it done unless the game is competitive. And if the game is competitive, you're going to want to have one of these Lakers guys because it's probably going to end up being a high-scoring game. And potentially LeBron James being ruled out, so you could play Westbrook or Anthony Davis. And you would be sitting very, very well. If it's 9 o'clock and you have all these Rockets guys and LeBron gets ruled out and you could pivot to Westbrook, you're going to be feeling really good. Nice call, Taylor, on the afternoon prize picks with Barnes and Luka. Easy money. Yep. No problem, man. Congrats on the monies. LMA okay for cash? Absolutely. Connaughton or Nwora? Probably Connaughton for me. Kelly O or Plumlee. I'd probably just play Kelly there, to be honest. Who are your 2 favorite spend-ups? Giannis and Damian Lillard. Bucks line out. Yep. Olynyk or Bog, GPP, Olynyk. Hill, Pat, Nwora, ABC, LaMarcus, Dame, Brown, Nurkic, DK, Cash. I like it. Why is Kelly risky? So I'll show you guys. So for those of you playing Kelly Olynyk, you know what you're getting yourself into. So this has happened each of the last 2 games. So this was 2 games ago. Kelly Olynyk. So, he's used to just playing. So that was nearly 5 minutes. And this was 5 minutes. So he's like on pace to play about 20 minutes per game. But he has been closing the games out. So once he gets in the 3rd quarter, he's been playing the entire 4th quarter. Because, they're a much better team with Kelly Olynyk rather than Isaiah Stewart. And a similar situation happened right here, where he ended up playing, about 10 minutes in the first half. And then he came in the 3rd quarter and played the rest of the game, got up to 28 minutes. He does average 1.23 fantasy points per minute on the year so far. So if we see similar situations like this happen again, I really like Kelly Olynyk. But we're not guaranteed to see that happen. We can go to games before. I mean, this game kind of blew out. And this game kind of blew out too. Let's go to it. Okay, this game was closer. So in a more normal situation, Kelly Olynyk plays about 22 minutes. So, I mean, he's still, you're not drawing dead by playing him, because I think he can do well in his 20 minutes. But if he's going to play upwards of 27, 28 minutes, where he closes the second halves out, I think Kelly Olynyk is a very good tournament option. Nurkic or Gobert? I like Nurkic better point per dollar wise, but if I had the money to get up to Gobert, I would do that. Especially if you don't have any bringbacks. Because if you're playing so many of these Bucks, you probably want to bring back just to ensure that game stays competitive. Hill, Pat, Nwora, ABC, LaMarcus, Dame, Brown, Nurkic, DK, Cash. I like it. Oh, I just went over that. So KBJ, was it questionable, upgraded, then downgraded? Yeah. He came into the day as questionable after missing the second half of last game. Then this morning, Steven Silas said that he was good to go and that he was probable. And then just recently, there was a report that he was downgraded to questionable again. So makes me midday downgrades are never good. Makes me think that he ends up sitting tonight. And if he sits, big boost to guys like Jalen Green, Jayshawn Tate, and then DJ Augustin at $3,100 should grab the start. If you really want to be ballsy, you could play DJ Augustin. You could put him in your lineup right now. He's $3,100. But just know that if Kevin Porter Jr. ends up playing, you're screwed. You're screwed. Tilting hard on whether to play Giannis or not. Do you mind explaining why you like Dame so much today? I mean, his shot volume is up massively these last 2 games. But both of the games ended up blowing out, so his minutes haven't even been there. He's been on pace to play 38 minutes in these games like we've seen in years past. And if we go over to Vegas, the Vegas line, so the line moved from 228 to 230.5 despite only 46% of the bets being on the over, which means sharp money is heavily on the over. Portland also went from 1-point dogs to 2-point favorites, and with only 58% of the money on the over. So a lot of teams are on Portland on the over in this game. This over-under is the highest on the slate by a wide margin. Game should be competitive, and 2 of these games are projected to be near blowouts with the Lakers and the Nets. And so if you play a stud like Dame and then 2 of the other games end up blowing out, you're going to be sitting well if that game is competitive. And some people believe this Bucks game will blow out. I don't think so, but this game could blow out as well because they are so short-handed against a good Utah Jazz team. So yeah, you could end up stacking a game, the only game that doesn't blow out on the slate. KD over 47 or Bog under 28. Yeah, I kind of just went over that. I don't mind. I like Bog today, so I wouldn't hit the Bog thing. And then KD, you're really just betting on if that game blows out or not, because if the game is competitive, I mean, he's kind of a shoo-in for 47. So it's just up to you on whether you think that game stays competitive or not. I would almost lean taking the under there, though, Kyle on KD just because you have multiple outs. Because if James Harden takes over like he did last time, KD might not hit 47. Also, if the game blows out, he's not going to hit 47. Dak is out tonight. Man, I have not paid attention to football at all since basketball, since the preseason started. ABC, Dame, Pat Connaughton, DeWara, LaMarcus Augustin, Kelly Owen, Nurkic, DK Dirty. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like Kevin Porter Jr. is going to play, but man, it's real risky playing DJ. I mean, I love that lineup. If DJ is starting, like, that lineup is amazing. Thoughts on Thanasis? I'm not playing Thanasis, and you shouldn't either. Grayson Allen revenge narrative. Is it? Oh, it is. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, man. Makes me like Grayson even more. Plumlee still at under 27. Wow, they moved Plumlee from 29 to 27. That's sad. So sad. Man, I mean, that's like about right. I would lean the under, but just because PJ Washington really took over that role last game. Don't know if that happens again, but yeah. Grayson's still at 22. That's kind of crazy for me. Crazy to me because he does get steals and blocks. And they are a full 3 points over here on Prize Picks. Harden or Dame? Straight up Harden for sure. Is Anthony Simmons a valid cheap fill-in play? Yeah, for sure. So the thing with Anthony Simmons is that Norman Powell returned last game. And, you know, he was on pace to play 27 minutes. But it didn't bother Anthony Simmons' minutes. They've been very, very welcoming of playing Anthony Simmons next to CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard. And so if he's going to continue to play low to mid-20s minutes, he's a pretty solid play at $3,800. We know when he's out there, he's going to be chucking. We can look at his shot volume, actually. Now, he's, like, really not even in play for me anymore with all the Bucks value. But, man, 14, 13, 10, 11 shot attempts. I mean, he's chucking when he's out there. Kelly O, KBJ, or Hill and Bridges. Probably Hill and Bridges there. Who are you playing for the Bucks? All the Bucks. All the Bucks outside of Thanasis. Giannis, Pat Connaughton, Grayson Allen, George Hill, Jordan Nwora. All in play. George Hill was my favorite value play originally from this when Chris Middleton was healthy, because he had the most security and minutes out of everybody. But now that the minutes are closer, I prefer the other guys to George Hill. But George Hill is still an A-tier play for me. If salary wasn't an issue, who do you like the best in the guards? So the best guards tonight, in my opinion, are Damian Lillard and James Harden. All the Bucks stars except Lil ABC. Yes. Yeah, and they probably won't budge these numbers. So if Kevin Porter Jr., once he's ruled out, if you have notifications on, I would take the over on Jalen Green, Jayshawn Tate. And by that time, this is probably going to be the only game on the board. So you would probably just bring it back with a guy like AD, I think, or LeBron if he's healthy, and just hope the game stays competitive, because this is like a real easy way to 5x. Any preference between Pat C and Nwora? Yeah, I'd probably lean, man. I'd probably lean Pat Connaughton there, but damn, is it close. Corey Joseph. I am not on Corey Joseph today. I'm not really on any of the Pistons. Got 6 minutes still locked, guys. Man, I can't believe my voice actually made it through this. It's insane. Bridges or Nurkic? Probably lean Nurkic there. Unless you're playing Trailblazers and you need a Charlotte Hornets bring back, then I would go with Bridges. Does Isaiah Stewart get blowout run? I don't believe so. I mean, I can double check with you right here. Let's look at one of these Pistons games. So this game kind of blew out. I mean, it's just like really weird. I guess you could consider this a blowout run for him there. But it's not definitive. And like they played Sadiq Bey. I mean, unless the game like really blows out, which we haven't seen yet, I don't think he does. But, you know, if it's like a 20-point game, he probably plays through it. That's just crazy in the chat. Wild. Thank you for that. Aldridge and Ingles or Tate, last piece inch. Aldridge for sure. Nurk and Kelly O or Bridges and Aldridge. Probably lean Bridges and Aldridge there. I keep ending up with Lamelo as one of my point guards on FanDuel. Is that bad? No, I think that's fine. I don't think KBJ will miss. I just looked at all of the NBA injury reports today that have been released, and he has been listed as Q in all of them. Yeah, so I like, yeah, that's why that NBC Edge thing, I think that's the one that like was messing around the other day with an injury. I can't remember. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but kind of annoying. It doesn't really affect me though all that much, to be honest, because if he's out, I'll just pivot to Jalen Green or vice versa. Last official news on him was from Silas saying he was likely going to play. Yeah. Bog or Allen? I'd probably go with Bog there if I have the money. Nurkic, Bridges, or Hayward utility. I'm going to go with Nurkic there. Conley or KBJ? KBJ. DK, GPP, Harden, Simmons, Pat C, Giannis, Olynyk, Porter, Allen, Aldridge. The thoughts? I like it. Yeah, I don't have any qualms with that lineup at all. I think it's going to be a really strong one tonight. Man, I can't believe there's like hovering between like 170 and 210 viewers today. With it being an NFL Sunday, was expecting much less. Yo, if you guys are in here, I'm trying to hit 100 subscribers by the end of the year. You know, I'm putting in this work on Sundays. If you guys could hit that subscribe button, that'd be really, really appreciated. I'm trying to hit those triple digits. Nwora, Kelly O, or Grayson Allen and Bogdanovich. I probably lean with the Nwora side there. Yeah, you're probably right, Mark. I mean, NBC Edge got to be really bad. How do I get these many viewers, but I get no subscribers? Get me there, guys, please. I'm begging. And then I'm 900 away from getting partnered with YouTube. Man, I don't know if I want to hit this now. I guess I'll wait for the news. They're pretty slow on adjusting to the news here. I'll probably just wait a little bit. You've been playing CS:GO. I played League yesterday on Prize Picks. Was a fun sweat. Did you have another channel about a year ago? Been subscribed to you for a while somewhere. Yeah, there was probably some other channels I posted videos on. 87 subscribers, man. Struggle out here. Have to start somewhere, I know, right? Humble beginnings. The source is an NBA injury report. They're probably just reading what they read earlier. That's so sad. All right, guys, we got 15 seconds to lock. Make sure to lock in your lineups. But I appreciate you guys being here on an NFL Sunday. But I honestly believe it's probably the best day to play NBA DFS because everybody's focused on NFL. Not me, though. Appreciate you guys being here.